You're listening to Dating Detours, where love gets messy, the stories get wild, and we talk about it with no filters. I'm your host, Marcus Toller. We're diving into the chaos of modern dating, one detour at a time. All right. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Dating Detours. I'm Marcus, and today I have one of my longtime friends, Ashley, with us. Hey,
hello,
Ashley.
Hello.
So we'll kick it off with age, sex, location.
Okay, age. Gosh, how old am I?
You can go with what you want to be.
Right. No, but seriously, I'm 53, and I reside in Fredericksburg with my husband Jeffrey.
So that already answered my next question. If you were single or married, but you're married, obviously. So this is our first time having a married guest on the podcast, and I'm so excited about it because I've been saying all along that I wanted to bring someone in a relationship, married, to really just talk about what it looks like in today's society and all the things going on. But let's back up. Let's talk about, how many times have you been married?
I have been married twice, actually.
Twice.
Yeah.
So first time you got married, how old were you?
So the first time I got married, I was 26.
Okay.
And we did things so fast. Boom, boom,
Yep.
boom. We got married. We had a baby.
Yep.
We got a dog and a house.
Wow.
All within.
So it was like a package, like boom.
Yes.
Got it from Amazon overnight.
It happened all within like the first year and a half of our marriage.
3-day delivery from Amazon.
Yeah, that was all tied up in a little package.
Yeah.
We lived in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Okay.
And
did you grow up here in Fredericksburg area?
I did not.
Oh.
So I am an Army brat.
Okay.
And spent the first many years in Germany.
Oh, wow, that's right. I have heard you talk about that.
Yeah. So then around kindergarten age, we moved back to the States.
Okay.
And so we planted ourselves in Augusta County.
Nice.
So I really had a wonderful opportunity, and this is a whole different podcast probably,
for sure.
To grow up with the same people from elementary school all the way from graduation.
See, I love that too. But back to, we'll touch on your upbringing a little bit. So military brat, I assume mom and dad was married the whole time you were growing up.
Oh, actually, no.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah,
I don't know if I've heard this story.
Yeah, so when I was around 8 and a half or so, my dad got stationed to Germany again.
Right.
And so at that time we were in school, pretty well established in Augusta County, and my mother and father decided that, if a family is separated, then the husband gets more money.
Right.
If he deploys without the family.
Yep.
So they made that decision, for monetary purposes. And so he was in Germany, and we would see him when he came home for leave and things like that. But he ended up getting a woman pregnant over there. And
heard a lot of those stories. My dad was in the military in Vietnam and all the things, and told me those, like, everybody ran off overseas and knocked people up.
That's right.
Sometimes they brought them home. Sometimes they left them.
Yeah. So he ended up being a big time hoe. He had slept with a lot of people. I may have more siblings than I think, but the running total right now, I think, is around 9 siblings.
Wow.
Yeah. 3 of which he adopted because he felt like he had to do that. He's on his 3rd marriage now.
Man.
But,
so
they divorced when I was 10.
Okay.
And then my mother is a man-hating,
man-hater,
savage,
was probably single from then
narcissist. Yeah, she
never remarried or nothing.
She never remarried. She did date a couple of people, but it was kind of rare. And so growing up, it was literally a very strong female personality that raised me and my sister in our household. My sister's 2 years, 2 months older than me. So
your mom kind of brought you up on this like fuck men attitude.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So how did that play into, let's go to high school, like when most people start exploring dating boys and all that. Like, when did you, well, not even, did that affect your mindset and your view on men and dating and all the things? Like, how did that affect you, you think?
Well, I was absolutely boy crazy.
So it didn't really bother you?
Yeah, it didn't bother me. And actually, I was kind of Rage Against the Machine, because not only did my mother hate men, she was also pretty prejudiced.
Oh, gosh.
So
now you're just trying to piss her off, probably.
Yeah, it was kind of like
kid.
that. So I wasn't allowed to date anybody of color, and that meant anyone.
Wow.
Yellow skin.
Wow, they had to be 100%
they had
white.
to be 100% white, and
Wow.
I'm absolutely not exaggerating.
That's crazy.
And so, one of my first boyfriends was Asian.
I bet she had a whole fit.
Oh, it was a whole fit, and with a side of Cheerios. It was a big deal, and so I did date primarily out of my race.
Just to piss her off, probably.
Yeah, it was part of it, but I was also attracted to people that had worldly experiences.
Okay.
And so where I grew up in Augusta County, the
It's
typical
probably country as hell.
Yes, totally country as
Like
hell.
me growing up
And
in West Virginia, it's like you don't see anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's so cultured, so white and black,
Yes.
so boring.
It is pretty boring, and
Yeah.
so if
I could get
all
yeah.
of the white dudes were farmers, and,
Right, it's like, what the hell I wanna do
I
with
mean,
that?
they were
Sure, they were
really
all American
fun
cute
and cool,
and
and they were
good
some
boys,
really,
good old guys.
Yeah, I went to school with a lot of really good-looking guys.
That's how I was. So growing up in West Virginia, same thing. It was very white versus black.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have any other, in the 80s, I didn't have any other experience. It was white or black.
Mm-hmm.
Hadn't seen a black person for the longest time growing up. I don't know if I've ever told the story on the podcast, but I'm going to do it again anyway. My step aunt come home from North Carolina one Christmas and had a little black girl with her. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on? My dad was military, so he was well-versed, traveled, and he's like, don't look at color, all the things. But it was still uncomfortable. I was just like, where's she come from, guys? And they were like, your aunt is her godmother, and her parents died in a car wreck. And she's part of the family now. And I was just like, it still warms my heart to think about it. Mm-hmm. The fact that, like, we're in this, like, racist environment, and that particular moment, everybody let all that shit go. But that also, like, I don't know, it sparked me being interested in black girls early on in high school, like, and it's so funny because I wanted to go to prom with one in another county. And her parents were like, well, you ain't taking her to your prom because we know what those white people over there are like. So if you want to go to prom, you coming to hers. Right. So it was always this heated thing. But yeah, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. So, all right. So talked about that a little bit. So you get married when you're 26. Let's jump back to that. Yep. How did that go? You said it was like a shotgun thing, typical, and it's funny, we were just talking about it on another episode. I feel like back then in your 20s, it was like, that's what we were supposed to do.
Right.
That's what we were programmed to do, right? You jump into marriage, you have a kid, you get a job, do all the things.
Yes.
And it's just going to work and everything's going to be fabulous because it worked for our family.
Yeah. And I was actually considered pretty old.
Yeah, 26 is old back then. Like, wow, you're just
engaged.
getting married.
Yeah, and so I felt some pressure.
I bet.
And the guy that I chose was he is half Russian and half Hungarian, and he's Jewish. Oh. So I hit all the things for my family.
All the triggers.
Yeah, all those triggers. My family was extraordinarily concerned that he was Jewish.
Oh, I bet.
And I loved it though, because I just don't have room in my heart for any type of hate.
Yes,
and
you've always been like that. I love that about you.
Yeah, thank you.
I do.
Thanks.
I do.
So, but I thought, I was 26. I needed to get married.
Yeah,
I had met Mark, was my first husband. I met him, and 6 months later, we were engaged. Wow. And so I thought, this is wonderful. This is how it's supposed to be.
Life.
Yeah, and we actually, in the proper order, we got engaged. We bought a house. we got the dog, and then we got married September 27th of 1997.
Wow. I was like a junior in high school.
Right? And then October 29th of 1998 is when we had our first baby girl, Bailey.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it sounded like it started out great.
It did. And
how long? So you did the fairy tale. Everything's going smooth. Everything's great, minus the family hating him.
They loved him
Eventually,
but they did have a problem with the whole
nationality and stuff.
Yes, the whole Judaism thing,
the racist side.
And we had decided to raise our children Jewish.
Okay.
So we would periodically get gifted by my mother books about Jesus. So I mean,
she's like just trying to slip them in every now and then.
She's just like, not today, motherfuckers.
Right.
Let me get some Jesus books.
We're gonna transform you.
You know.
That's funny.
Yeah, and I love Christianity and I love Judaism.
Yeah,
and I think that they're both okay.
Yeah, me too. I grew up, like I said, in West Virginia in a Southern Baptist environment, but it was so funny. Like, well, it's not funny. It was just interesting to me looking back on it. I hit this like stage when I was a teenager where I was like, I need to figure out about this religion stuff. Mm-hmm. And I visited a bunch of different churches by myself. My parents didn't care. They're just like, oh, you're going to church? And I went to them all, the tongues and the snakes and all the things. And I'm like, whoa, there's a lot of stuff going on out here with the whole religion thing.
Yeah.
And as I've got older, I've, in my mindset is like, it's okay. Everybody can have their own beliefs. You can have your God. I can have my God. It doesn't matter. And a lot of times from what I've seen, it all goes back to the same place.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, nobody really knows. I mean, were you there? Do you
Exactly.
know? I mean, I wasn't there. Were you?
Nah, I wasn't there either, man.
So we really
don't. We've been taught to just believe.
That's right.
Blindly believe.
Yeah.
And it's a good thought. Whatever.
Yeah.
But
so it didn't hurt us. And, we lasted.
How many years?
We were married about 16 years.
Wow.
I think. Yeah.
That's a good run.
It was a really good run. And
how many years before it was like, before it started unraveling?
It started unraveling when he started a program at JMU for Masters in Education. And so he came home one day and told me that there was this girl in one of his classes that he just, to quote him, he's just like, I just couldn't keep my eyes off of her.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, dude, you're going to come home and tell...
Right, your wife the mother of your kid.
Yeah, and I ended up not realizing it at the time, but I was pregnant with baby number 2.
Wow, and he's like, I like these college girls.
Yeah, so he's telling me, I couldn't keep my eyes off of her, and I'm like, got ya, okay, bet. So, we went through the pregnancy. I mean, nothing really, he was faithful to me.
Right.
He didn't cheat on me.
He was just being honest and open
about it. Yeah, he was
it.
being completely honest and open.
Which, I mean, now, you know what? I think of things like that now, and I think if it was now, we'd be appreciative. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With today's environment, if somebody was open and honest with me and was like, you know what, I've been checking this girl out and blah, blah, blah. Like, I think as a female, I could appreciate it.
Yeah,
and we could talk about it. But back then, it was like, what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The ultimate, like, betrayal.
Yeah.
Just looking at somebody.
I was already
and you're pregnant
kind of
and
unsure
emotional.
that, here he is. Like, he had always dated girls with blonde hair, blue eyes, like a very specific look.
And you didn't necessarily fit the profile.
I did not fit that profile, nor did he fit the profile of the guy that I would normally
your normal
date.
profile.
But I thought, let me try
Opposites attract.
let me try this guy out or whatever. And
so it started unraveling with that.
Yeah, it unraveled completely when we had a kindergartner and a second grader. And he essentially just told me that
He was just over
that
it.
he wasn't in love with me, that he loved me, and he wants to stay together as a unit and
Just
raise our
doesn't-
girls.
right, but wants to do his own thing.
And I'm like, he didn't want to do his own thing. He was. I would probably label him at the time as pretty asexual.
How many years in? Like, how many years in is this now? You said 16 total.
Yeah, so this was probably year 14, because when we
Okay.
separated, we actually didn't divorce for another couple of years.
Okay.
We separated.
So it wasn't like anything crazy happened.
No.
It was just an honest, like, hey, I'm not in love with you anymore.
Right, and I actually said, to his proposition of let's just stay friends
together
and
as a
raise
family.
these girls, I said, nope. I am not going to teach our girls.
I love that.
That you
It's okay.
have to stay in
a
this marriage.
unhappy thing if you're not happy.
And so I was just like, no, you need to move
go.
out, grab
Yeah.
your stuff, move out.
We'll
We'll
co-parent.
explain it to the girls. And actually, after the first initial shock of it all, our second grader essentially said, it's about time. You know, like
Kids are so
she
blunt and
just
honest too
knew.
at that age, and they feel it. They feel it.
Yeah, she felt that there wasn't the love and connection that needed to be there.
Yeah.
There were some of his family members that, you know,
We're probably
during
like
Thanksgiving.
spiteful, like
Well, no, not spiteful at all, but over
the vibe wasn't
Thanksgiving,
there.
like one of his aunts said to him, like, you know, Mark, you talk to your wife like that? You better be
Wow.
careful. She's not one of your fourth graders.
Wow.
Because he's a teacher, you know?
Wow.
And so people could see.
They sensed it all around it.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about this for a second. So
Okay.
you touched on something that I really like to think and talk about, is that growing up, you know, anybody that's 40 or above went through this. So many marriages, so many couples stayed together for the kids, right? And it didn't help. We thought it did. Everybody thought it did, but really it didn't, because as a kid, you see what the dynamics change and shift. People are unhappy. Dad's moody. Mom's moody. They're giving each other evil eye at the table. Like she wants to stab him in the face with the fork, you know, and it's crazy. And it still continues on. People still do it. But now even worse is people split and people don't want nothing to do with the kid.
Yeah,
I don't know where that came from.
that is tragic.
It
in my
never was
opinion.
like that growing up.
Yeah.
I never seen it.
Yeah, and I made it very clear to Mark that when we separated, we never fought in front of the
Right.
kids. I said we are not going to fight. We're not going to discuss any
Right.
adult issues
No, it's-
in front of
yeah,
these girls.
no.
We're not going to say, okay, you get this weekend,
Right,
I
right.
get that weekend. We're going to co-parent. You are welcome anytime to see the kids. And
by.
we still went on day trips together. We spent
See, I
time
love
as
that.
a family.
I love that.
And the girls really adjusted very well.
I love that. And you don't see a lot of that either. And it's sad for the kids, because it's like you said earlier, right? When we set these examples for kids, especially young kids, and they have to see it all their life, it just kind of molds them into like, this is normal and this is what I'm going to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we see it, you know, people will say, just in general, like, well, you are your environment. And then other people will say, no, you can overcome the tragedies and the hardships. And it's, who knows what the formula is to do that. But you see a lot of times people are their parents. And I'm still like going to therapy to talk about things that I dealt with as a kid.
Yeah.
Because as I got older, I seen some of my parents' parenting come out through me. And I was like, man, I don't like that. Like my dad would shut down, didn't want to argue, no conflict, no nothing. Like, nope, said what I said. I'm going to my room, shutting the door. And I'm like, that's just it. We can't have a conversation about this.
Our unhealed parents.
Yes.
Yeah. I had a very much unhealed mother who I'm actually now estranged. You know, I don't have my mom in my life. She is a textbook covert narcissist.
Wow.
Yeah. But we, Mark and I really band together and co-parented really
I love that.
well.
I love to hear those stories, and I love to see it now. You know, you don't see it a lot, but there are those couples out there that co-parent, even with the new wives and the new husbands,
Yeah.
and they all come together as a unit, as four.
That's
And
right.
I'm here for that too, because you know, that's another big thing. Like, don't be bringing no people around. I'm not against the whole, like, I've heard a lot of parents after divorce set these ground rules in their divorce of, like, no one's allowed to sleep over until you've been with them 6 months, or like these
Right.
ground rules, right? I feel like you shouldn't even have to set those kind of rules.
Right.
I feel like as adults, we should just know it's not good for our kids to have people in and out of the house all the time and
Right.
looking like we're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But it's nice to see when people move on, get remarried, the new wife, the new husband, they all come together. Like, I love that, because why? Like, we already been there, done that. Like, why am I mad at the new guy for? I'm not mad at him. Hey, take her, please.
Right.
Please.
Right. Yeah, and I consider myself very lucky to have found my now husband.
Yeah, let's
Jeffrey.
talk about that. So you get the
Yeah.
divorce. How old were you when you divorced?
So interestingly enough, like I said, Mark and I had separated, but we didn't get our divorce until 2 years later. But about 6 months after he moved out, I met Jeffrey, and I thought, we were friends, you
Okay.
know, and so I thought, okay, he's really fun.
Right.
Like, I considered him like one of my girlfriends, because he
Right.
loved to shop.
Oh,
He
man.
he loved to go out to lunch. Lunch is my favorite.
I know.
And
See, and this is me. I'm gonna let you tell the story, but then I'm gonna pick your brain.
Okay.
Go ahead. So,
Oh, you want me
you're
to
going
finish?
through the divorce. You meet Jeffrey. You friend zoned him, is what it sounds like.
Yeah. So we started out, you know,
One of the girls hanging out.
one of the girls. I really liked him. I had a lot of fun with him and that kind of thing. And so
Finally get divorced.
the first Thanksgiving that I didn't get to spend with Mark and the girls, because you know they went to New York to visit Grandma and Grandpa,
Right.
And so the first Thanksgiving by myself, and it was his first Thanksgiving by himself. I realized that weekend that, you know, this is the guy I want to be with. And he really taught me a whole different type of love. Like, I thought that I was madly in love with Mark, and I thought I knew what love was, like
Right.
what I was receiving from Mark.
You thought it all
and-
met the standard,
Yes, I had no idea.
but you
that-
also didn't know any other love.
I didn't. I did not know another love. And so I didn't realize, first of all, I didn't feel like I was worthy to have the type of love I was feeling from Jeffrey.
It's always tricky.
Yeah, it is super tricky. And I thought, wow, you know, he really loves me. And if I'm like, let me just tell you that I didn't trust it. I thought, this feels so good,
It's a
it
scam.
cannot be real. So I really kept him.
Back then, I don't think we were calling it love bombing yet.
Yeah, right. Well, he's not a narcissist either, but-
Well, that's what I'm saying. Back
but
then,
I
we didn't
kept
have
him-
all these terms.
Yeah,
It was just,
yeah.
oh, it's too good to be true. You're just trying to get in my pants.
Yeah, so I kept him at arm's length, and you know,
You just
he
kept
was
pushing.
he's just like, you know what, I know you, I know what you're doing, I see right through you, and I'm not going anywhere, because I had some major abandonment issues going on, you know, and so, but he never went away, and now we've been married almost 14 years.
I love it. And you guys are great. You guys are
He just
awesome.
loves me in a way that just feeds my soul. Like, we have the same love language, and
That's
we
important.
trust each other, and we can do things independently, and I know that it's not going to change anything. I was always
Mm-hmm.
very hesitant to do anything independent of Mark. Not that I didn't trust him, and not that he cheated on me. It's just that,
Codependent.
yeah, just maybe a little codependency there. But yes, so I kind of made some pretty rotten jokes around our other adult friends, saying, you know, by calling Mark my starter husband.
The starter
You know,
husband.
but we
That's
actually, you know, we're really good friends. We created 2 beautiful daughters.
Yeah, man.
It was
we
amazing.
gotta cherish it.
Yeah. And so now he has found,
His
you know,
new-
someone who
his next chapter.
matches him. Like, they're both teachers.
That's good.
They both fit together really well. And I found mine with Jeffrey, and we are able to coexist in the same room. And, you know, we've gone to dinner. We are planning our daughter's wedding happening May 2nd.
I love it.
Yeah, we're just all together doing this as
I
a
love
team.
it. I love it. And just for the listeners, Jeffrey is a therapist.
He is. He's an LCSW, a licensed clinical social worker.
Well,
Yeah, he runs his own practice. And
so I feel like, do you think that affects like his communication style with you and stuff? Like,
Nope. Let me tell you.
Think he throws all that out of the window when y'all are together?
Yep.
So he doesn't treat you like a patient?
No, it goes back to that old adage that the cobbler's kids don't have shoes.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jeffrey and I actually had to learn how to communicate with each other, and I used to get so angry when he tried to shrink me, I'm going to call it. I'm like, you know, take that hat off, motherfucker, because I'm your wife and I am not a client of yours. And so,
I'm sure that was a struggle in the beginning, right?
it was, well, not in the beginning, but
Well, 'cause he wasn't a therapist
after
yet.
a few. No, he was.
Oh, he was already a therapist?
Yeah.
So that's funny, though. So let's touch on that. So
Yeah.
you were in that rebound phase, you know, coming out of that first marriage, and you're like, psh, stay away. Friend zoned him.
Yeah.
I think in my mind as a dude, if I was a therapist, he played it exactly like I would. I'm like, yeah, you'll come around. I'm just going to hang out.
Yeah, you know, he just knew, he did recognize in me some of the issues that I was having with abandonment and trust. And, you know, I
think he's got look, I think he had the advantage there because me personally, I've been dealing with damaged women all my life. And I've always been, I don't know how to deal with that type of stuff where they're like, hey, I'm going through some shit. I really like you. You're really cool, but I just don't know how to manage things. And I'm either going to go harder and push them away even further, or I'm just going to be like, yeah, I don't got time for this. I'm going to roll out. So that's what I was getting back to. I wanted to touch on the whole friend zone thing. Like, what is your advice to somebody like me, like that comes across someone coming out of a marriage and went through some dramatic things, and you know, you obviously see the issues, but you obviously see there's a connection there. How do you break through and get past? Like, how did Jeffrey, besides just constantly showing up and being there, like, how did he finally get through to you where you were like, you know what, I'm gonna let him in?
Right. Well, I want to let you know that took.
Yeah, and how long did it take?
Yeah, that took many years before I trusted him 100%. And we were married at this point.
Well, I mean, in general, like back to like when, he was one of the girls just hanging out, blah, blah, blah.
No, I mean, that he kind of broke through that quickly, you know. However, I just
that's what I'm trying to
him.
think back to that. Like, what did he do to break through to get out of the friend zone? For you to go, yeah, I like this dude more than just friends. Like, do you think there was any one particular thing?
Well, I kind of felt that way from the very beginning.
You felt
like,
the vibe?
Yes, I knew that that we had some major chemistry, and I was just trying to. I don't know. I had set up this rule in my head that, oh, well, you've not been separated long enough.
Right.
You know what I mean? But really, is there a correct timeline?
I don't think so. And we, you know, and everybody, we all struggle with this crap because, again, society and the rule book, this imaginary freaking rule book that's out there that none of us have access to, that the 80s and the 70s and the 60s pushed on to us of, no, you need to be separated for at least a year to sleep with someone or get in a new relationship. I don't know, fast forwarding now, I'm like, dude, coming out of a relationship, go be a hoe for a minute, go date, Go sleep around. Go figure out what you like. Because it goes back to, you said it perfect. You didn't know any other love language than what you had. You know what I mean? So it's like, especially nowadays, it's like you don't know anything else.
Yeah. And I think part of me, I don't want to say that I settled with Mark, but I felt pressure. I was 26.
You're getting old.
My friends, there were
Everybody
some
else
of my
is already
friends, they were
5
already
years
married
in.
and they already had kids. And here I am, 26 and single.
Right.
Like, I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
And so
Well, back
I
then there
thought-
was that pressure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you come home from college and people, or you come home on break and people would be like, you ain't engaged yet? You find a love of your life out there?
Right. So when I met Mark and we got along so well, and quite honestly, my roommate and I at the time, she actually met her husband the same night I met Mark.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we
the
met
buddies.
these guys at a bar in St. Pete called the Big Catch.
The Big Catch.
Yeah. And so our plan, before we even met them, my roommate and I were like, tonight we're going to go, I'm going to have my first one night stand. We're going to rock some guy's world. And then I'm never going to talk to them again because I wanted to check that off my list.
That's the point of the one night stand, right?
Right.
So the one night stand that turned into a family.
Right. So we met these guys and I did exactly that. I brought them home and then I was just like, wait a minute. Like,
I like him.
This is kind of fun. And so then he called me the next night and we literally, it was a booty call for the next 4 months.
Oh, I love
so
that.
much so, like every night. So much so that like after a few months of doing this, he's just like, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know, I worked 3 to 11. I'm like, okay, sure. Come over at 11:30
like you normally do.
We'll talk.
Right, we'll talk like we normally do.
Right. And he's just like, you know, he goes, I really like you a lot and I want to take you on a date and show you off to my friends. And I thought, oh, wait a minute.
This is...
Okay, maybe this could be like marriage material thing,
right?
You know, and he was very different. Like he was clean cut, fraternity brother from SUNY Oswego, and I thought, well, normally the guys I was dating had, you know, it was the grunge era, so I liked the long hair, you know, guys who thought they were prettier than me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The pretty boy rock stars.
Yes. And so they just haven't worked out at that point. And so I was just like, well,
those guys are fuck boys.
Right. So I'm like, let me try my hand at a clean cut, you know, fraternity guy. And so it ended up, you know, being a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun together.
I mean, fraternity guys are fun. Let's be real.
Yeah. We did our fair share of partying and you know, nothing but sex. And
I love it.
Yeah, until he's just like, you know what? I like you more than this. Like,
see, I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm in this place right now in my life where I want to be friends with someone before getting into a relationship. Like, imagine that.
And I highly recommend that. Another thing I highly recommend is fix your shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we
keep saying that on the podcast.
You know you have issues.
Yeah,
you know
you
have some maybe some low confidence or self-worth issues.
Everybody
work
does.
On yourself.
Yeah.
Become
and then also,
friends with.
And also talk about it. You know what I mean?
Talk about it.
I think you need to talk about shit like
and
that.
And then kind of open up your preconceived idea
of what you want,
what you think you want, because
I've been trying to do that because I've had a type, you know, being a shallow dude, like I'll just throw it out there. I always wanted the trophy.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I want to be able to show her off. Look at my trophy, girl.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what?
It didn't really work out. I don't want to badmouth the pretty girls or anything like that, but because I mean, pretty comes in all shapes and sizes and looks and personalities. But the Barbie dolls, we'll just call them that. Over the years, the ones I've been with were just just wasn't fun.
Yeah. And you know what? That's a product of how we grew up in marketing.
It is.
Because
the
that's
marketing,
all that was
the
on
message.
television. So people, really think that that's how you're supposed to look. That's who you're supposed to date. But you men are pre-wired to want to marry and procreate with women who have the thick booties and
big boobs,
they can
big
carry their babies and you know what I mean. That's pre-wired in every single man.
It is, according
to science.
Right.
So
I believe it.
I think that also when you get to know somebody that's not visually your typical type,
it changes.
The personality really determines how pretty they become.
Yes, you start looking at people different based on their personality.
Yeah,
because and then sometimes that backfires. Because I was like, there's been relationships where like when we were together and things were good, it was like put her on a pedestal, and then when it was over and I looked at her, I'm like, oh, you're ugly.
Oh no!
Because then the person, because once that inside part turned ugly, it just. Whole thing, for me at least. You know what I mean?
I can see that if somebody starts to have personality changes or they're going through
starting to be ugly towards you, mean.
I feel like people's visual appearance
it goes away.
Changes with their personality, like
situation, the behavior.
Like I know several people, and I've learned over my entire lifetime. Like visually seeing somebody who looks so pretty or so handsome, and then they open their mouth and it's like, whoop, that went right out the window.
Instantly gone.
Yeah. So I really, through all of my twists and turns on my own personal dating detour,
right,
I have learned that it's not all about that.
It's not all about the appearance. Yeah, it's
appearance. Not. Is it helpful? Sure.
It is. I mean, I feel like it. You gotta have some kind of attraction to someone, and normally it does start with a physical attraction,
right? And it can build, like Jeffrey. As much as I love him and am in love with him, he is not the type of person I would have normally gravitated toward. He is. He likes to hunt and fish. I love to fish too. Boy, who am I kidding? But I mean, he was just somebody that I normally wouldn't have gravitated toward. And we have actually had this conversation and giggle about it. Like, I'm like, honey, do you think you would have dated me in high school? Because, I listened to The Cure, Depeche Mode, and tried to be,
the emo girl.
Yeah.
Well, the alternative girl.
Individual. And then he was very much the jock. He played baseball, but he was like a countryside of jock.
Country boy jock.
I mean? And he's just like, no, I would not have dated you.
You wouldn't even been on my radar.
Like, well, son of a bitch.
Right.
I wouldn't have dated you either because I didn't like a dumb jock.
Right.
Not that the jocks were dumb in my school by any means.
Well, let's talk about, I've known you guys for a minute, especially more you than Jeffrey. I've hung out with both of you before. But I've got to know you pretty well over the years in our marketing environment and friendship and all the things we've done together. What I find really interesting about your and Jeffrey's marriage is the whole being apart all the time. Like you guys are apart a lot because he goes to Mexico, you stay here. Like how did that, first of all, let's talk about like that first time that you guys talked about that and like what it felt like. Like, were you for it or were you like, damn, nah, that ain't cool? Like, let's just tell me about how that whole thing unraveled.
Okay, so when we first started this, it was a gradual thing. It didn't like he was just going to go get things done a week or two before I came down. Okay. And it initially was born out of I did not want to be around any type of construction, nothing. Like, get the stuff done,
right.
And when it's done, then I'll come, and then I'll be able to enjoy it or whatever. Then it became like longer and longer. He wanted to go down and surf for a while, but it was during the really hot months, and you
were like, I'm staying here. It's too hot.
The heat is just a lot for me, and I'm just like, okay. And plus I want to stay closer to where our kids are. Like,
Right.
even though they're all adults, I feel like they need me on some level.
They
but
do.
if I'm being real and honest,
I've met
I need them more.
You need them. You and especially you and your daughter that I've met.
Yeah, Jillian.
You guys need each other.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, did it? I don't know. It just feels like to me like you never even thought about anything. Like no trust issues with it, no nothing. You were just like, yeah, go do your thing.
Yeah. Well, he and I had some major trust issues back in 2018.
Okay.
Whereas I was like, we need to separate. You need to move out of the house.
Wow.
And we need to figure some stuff out. Not that he had sex with anybody else or whatever, but it's just something that we needed to do.
So is this
separate
after he'd already been going back and forth?
No, this was before. This was before.
Wow.
Then. Yes.
Even more interesting.
Yeah. So
you guys had a little thing.
I needed to have some serious trauma therapy. I was having some major issues that bubbled up. Sometimes things like that bubble up out of other stressors.
Yeah,
so
I could
it
see
bubbled
that.
up and out, and I needed to get trauma therapy. And
you don't want to put him through it.
No, I mean, I was mad at him. You know, he was having some conversations with some women online. So I felt extraordinarily betrayed.
Okay.
And I'm like, get the fuck out. And you work on you. I'll work on me. And we'll go to marriage counseling.
Right.
So it kind of went sideways. We ended up being separated for nearly a year.
Wow.
But we had 2 years worth of marriage counseling, and he had his individual, I had my trauma therapy, and it was life-changing.
I love that too, because it's one thing to come together and have therapy together, but you can't be completely open and honest together.
No, you can.
You can, but what I'm saying is like there's your side, his side.
Well,
I don't know. I feel like you need separate.
Yeah, well, he had his individual, I had my individual, and when we had our marriage counseling, that was actually at our very first appointment. I just recently had a conversation with a friend regarding this, but our very first appointment, you know, because he's an LCSW, he didn't want any of his peers to think that he couldn't handle his own stuff.
I could see that.
And so he actually started off this first conversation with something that wasn't true. And it wasn't like a lie. It was one of those lies that you tell somebody that you don't really know, that you don't want them to know your whole
situation.
Story. Yeah. And I said, okay, we're done here. This isn't going to work.
Wow.
And the counselor was just like, what's happening right now? I said, he's lying to you, and this is not going to work if he's going to lie. We all have to be raw and very truthful for this to work. And he's just like, she's right.
Wow.
And he was just like, fuck. First he thanked me for throwing him under the bus.
I love
and then
that.
he was just like, okay, yeah, I was not being truthful, and I vow to be 100% truthful from here on out. And that's what it took.
Yeah.
And we worked really hard. It was so hard. A lot of tears were cried.
I bet.
And we came out the other side with a marriage that I never knew could be any better.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that's why I highly recommend all the therapy.
Me too. I preach it. I live by it. I preach it. You know, and on that note, it's like, I feel like a lot of people go to a therapist that they don't vibe with sometimes, and they think therapy don't work. Because I had my first therapist that ended up, I'm not going to lie, I'm a dude. I went on the website, I picked the hottest chick.
Right.
Because I'm like, yeah, that one. She's
that
hot.
one, right?
And then she ended up being a relationship and sex therapist. And I was like, not really what I wanted to touch on, but yeah, I do actually. Let's talk about it. And it ended up being great. And she definitely opened my eyes to a lot of things. You know me, I'm like, my brain, like, I got some out the box thinking.
Yeah.
And she was like, listen, you know, like talking about poly and stuff, right? I always joke around about all that. She's like,
is it a joke?
Is it? We don't know. We'll never know. Well, my idea of poly and the definition is completely different.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm trying to adjust to that.
Yeah.
But anyway, she was like touching on that. She was like, well, I counsel couples that are poly, and they came to me first and talked through what it was going to look like, what the boundaries were, all the thoughts and feelings, and then they went and executed and it was successful. And I was like, it's interesting.
Yeah, you have to have a lot of trust, and you know,
You just have to in general. Like me,
Yeah.
like look at no homo, but Jeffrey's a good looking dude.
he is.
He looks
a
like
good-looking
to me,
dude.
I always looked at he's that surfer guy.
Not
looking,
only good looking, he is so sexy, and he is attentive.
and you just let him loose in Mexico.
I do, because I trust him.
I love that,
and
though.
you know, it took the counseling
I get,
to
I
trust
bet.
100%.
Especially saying that you called him up online talking to girls, and now he's
Yeah,
in Mexico.
and you
this
know what?
hot white American guy running around in Mexico. They're going to eat his ass up.
Right. And what it boiled down to was that my part of that is that I wasn't making him feel special, and like I was getting caught up in being a little selfish, and so I wasn't telling him.
And it goes both
how
ways,
much,
right?
You know, how appreciative I am of him,
Right.
and how he supports the family so well.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. I was just talking about that with a friend, because I'm one of those people where I don't say it enough to people in general. Like, thanks so much for what the effort you've put towards what we're doing here. You know, and I've learned as I've got older that it's just one of those things you have to just got to do it, because it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, I feel like sometimes the men don't get it. They don't get the appreciation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like the culture has always been like, appreciate the woman, appreciate the woman, appreciate the woman. I feel like we're getting better at letting go of these gender roles and who this, that, and the third of like, so, but I feel like it's such a huge thing, because men were trained to be the strong, like, protector, don't cry, don't let nobody see you stress, like everything's great, push it down, you don't got anxiety, you know what I mean? And that shit sucks as a man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're like, well, fuck, I gotta kiss all the women's ass and tell them how beautiful they are all the fucking time, and tell them how much I love them, and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, I'm over here fighting fucking secret battles that I
Yeah.
can't even address with anyone.
I totally understand you. And I think that if you put out that effort, the right person will match it.
I think so too.
And I think I was going through so many of my issues
Internally.
Yeah, that I wasn't reciprocating.
Weren't thinking about him.
And I feel like, you know, I am a lot.
Yes, you are.
Was requiring a lot of his attention.
I bet.
I was needy, and I was always asking him, like,
Give me more, give me more.
No, I was
Or
asking
just
him, like,
reassurance all the
Do
time.
you love me? Are you going to leave me? You know,
and that's exhausting for a man.
It is.
It really is.
It
Because
was
it's like,
exhausting for me too.
as a man, yeah, both
But,
sides.
yeah.
But as a man that's like being the provider and taking care of the family and working and doing
Yeah.
all the things to have your significant other be like, do you even love me? I'm like, damn. My first like love of my life, first apartment together, all the things. I was working from dusk to dawn, was always working. And I'd get home and she'd just be like, you don't even love me. You're never here. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I got to work.
Yeah. Well, so obviously, just based off that statement, her love language is not acts of service, because somebody who has the acts of service love language
They'll appreciate
is
it.
going to appreciate you so much, and that's going to be such a turn on for them that you're working from, you know, morning
They want
to
to
night.
provide when you get home.
Yeah. So
We were just talking about that on
Yeah.
one of the other episodes, where now I feel like the feminine energy of this era is women are like acting like dudes a lot now. And I'm like, what's it take to unlock the old school energy? And the girl that was on the podcast, she was like, I don't know, but I was with this dude that went to work and he came home all dirty with his hard hat, and I just felt like taking care of him because he brought that energy. And I was like, okay, so men are not giving off that provider energy no more.
Yeah. You know, I think that
Luckily, you're grandfathered in.
right.
You're grandfathered into the good life.
Yeah. I mean, you know, both of us, both Jeffrey and I were raised by very
Traditional, probably.
strong, business oriented adults that really put an emphasis. I was told growing up that you need to make your own money. You need to become independent and do this,
Which
and this
is crazy.
before you bring a guy into your world.
Which is crazy in that era. You didn't hear that. Moms and dads weren't teaching that to kids our age.
Yeah, I consider
and you're
myself
older than me,
pretty
so it's
lucky.
because I push that on my daughter. I'm always like, listen, you need your own. Do not depend on someone, because when they pull the rug, you're done.
Right.
So I love that. I love that culture, especially now with the cost of living and shit. Like, are you kidding me?
I know.
Like, yeah, we need to both make money.
Yes. Yeah. Now, do I?
You don't got to make as much as him.
Do I condone and suggest that you work morning tonight? No.
Exactly.
I just think
But
that
if you do,
if
you know,
prioritize your time.
Right. I struggle with that. Me and my therapist is talking about that right now.
Yeah.
Because you do. Not only for the people around you that matter, they need to know that they matter, and you need to give them that attention.
That's right. Yeah, it's a coping strategy.
It is.
And you're either drowning yourself in work, you're drowning yourself in donuts. Like I struggled with my weight.
Right. Or alcohol or drugs or whatever.
Alcohol,
whatever your vice
drugs.
is, whatever your distraction is.
That's right. And so
you'll just get lost in that distraction.
So you have to find...
Because I can set up my computer from 7 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Oh, I could do that too. Matter of fact,
and the only time I get up, I'll sit there and I'll be about to pee for an hour. I'm just dancing around in my seat because I'm so locked in.
If you ask either one of my kids, they'll tell you that mom works too much, but dad works too much too. Like,
I mean,
so,
at least it's
yeah. And that was one of the points of contention in my marriage with Mark. He's definitely a workaholic, and he would wake up extraordinarily early to go to work, like an hour at least early, and then he would come home and work until the late hours of the night. And I'm just like,
where's the time?
That was not my love language. And then he would do all the laundry. He would, do things.
Well, I feel like
that was his acts of love. And I'm like,
that's not working for you. Yeah.
We don't talk
I feel
the same love language.
I feel like a lot of times people will be distant, working all day, and then they try to make up with those other acts, right? Where they're like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and clean the house up too.
Yeah.
And that way, when I get yelled at for not being present, I can be like, but I cleaned the house.
Right.
And it's like, who gives a shit?
Right.
If you clean the house, fuck this house. It could be dirty. I just want you to be here.
And so I'm going to say this, and not many people will
let
agree
me
with
see what we got. Yeah, we got to start wrapping it up. So
oh, okay, no worries.
No, go ahead. Say what you were going to say.
So I was just going to say that when you find that person that you share the same love language with, I mean, like Jeffrey and I, we share 3 love languages together. And because we share that, and that's always our common, we always find each other in our love languages. So when other things happen around us that would cause strife or arguments or whatever,
meet back in the love languages.
It just doesn't affect us as much. Like, we rarely fight. Like, we're both, I consider, to be very sensitive beings. And
which is crazy, because you also are bratty and can be a hard ass, I can feel like.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I am very much bratty.
You're definitely bratty.
Yes. And I have very high expectations of the people around me.
Yep.
So
you definitely do.
When
anybody
I see
as a friend.
you do something
I get the calls and the texts all the time. You're like,
right.
what the hell is that?
But
I love
you,
that. And I love people in my life that hold me accountable.
Yes.
Even if I don't agree, just saying, hey, what was that about? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I had a friend call me recently because, my daughter's mom's going through some shit, and my daughter made this post about what she was going through, and one of my friends called me and was like, yo, you good over there? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm good. She's like, well, the post that your daughter made. And I went and looked and I was like, oh shit. Yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate shit like that. High expectations out of people around you, setting that higher standard. But also sometimes it's hard. It's harsh. Like I had a friend the other day that got mad at me about something that for me, I didn't think it was a big deal, but it was. And I had to be like, listen, I get it. But not your delivery, and you know me, my delivery, I got delivery issues.
I'm pretty harsh on my delivery of advice that comes from love.
Right.
Like if I like you enough or love you enough to give you
raw
that
feedback,
type of advice, it's for if you know me, then you should feel that that's a compliment, because if I don't like you at all, you're not going to hear it from me.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Because, another thing that I've recently kind of wrapped my head around is I am not chasing anybody.
No, I'm not either. I'm over it.
Anybody, I'm matching the energy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like if you're not showing up for me, I'm not showing up for you
it's
anymore.
Not that and it's took me forever to get to that, because I'm a giver.
Yes.
And I'm also one of those people, like, if we're in something and you ghost, I need to know why.
Yeah.
I used to. Now I'm over here. I had to catch myself yesterday with a situation where I was like, I felt the vibe was off in the convo, but also I went back through my head and I was like, nah, I've done everything right that I know how to do. I'm not responding to that.
Yeah. And that's good.
Because I felt it.
You can recognize that now.
They poked in a nonchalant way, and they wanted me to have a reaction. And I was like,
That's part of your growth and healing.
I'm not falling for it.
Marcus, you're going to realize that when you continue this growth and healing, that the right people are going to gravitate to you.
Yes, that part.
But then you also have to be aware of who these people are and not push them away.
This is true.
Be open-minded.
Yeah, for sure. Because everybody, what I'm learning.
Embrace that shit.
What I'm learning right now, especially, is that everybody's going through something. Some's worse than others.
Yeah.
Some express it in worse ways than others. Some people are just holding the shit in, not talking about it, but it's written all over their face. I'm still a hard ass. Don't get it twisted. I'm still one of those, I've heard you bitch about the same thing for a month now, but I've yet to hear you take action to fix it.
Yeah. Well, I actually take a different approach. When I see you complain and moan and groan on social media, I see that as something that's hurt you. You're
working through it.
You're very sensitive.
Yeah.
And that's how
I get through it.
Yeah,
right?
that's how
and you only
are
know
that.
You only even know if you know me.
Right.
On a deeper level.
The people who are looking at your post and being like, dude, what's he complaining about? He's always got something negative to say.
Right.
They don't know
shit.
Well.
They don't know shit. That's
they don't
why I'm
know you very well. And so, but that's when you have to be careful about how you're posting.
Yeah,
because you're not always talking to an audience like me who's known you for years.
Right. Well, the funny part is with social media is that there's an audience there that is watching that you don't even know about.
Yeah.
Right? You don't even know who's watching. Because most people just don't say shit. They just watch.
Right. Your frenemies.
Or just people that, they're just watching to be watching. Especially when you're, not saying I'm a big deal or anything, but I've always had 4,000 or 5,000 friends on every platform. I make it a mission to get as many people as I can.
Right.
In the net. You know what I mean? And, you're right. But what I'm learning back to this whole thing of trying not to push people away that are actually good for you. You just got, you got to accept people where they're at. But you also, I was talking to my therapist today, you also got to, everything has, not to put it like money, but everything has a investment versus ROI.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right? Even with our friendships and our relationships and our business shit, all the things, you have to go, hey, I've put this much effort into this. I've got this much back. Does it line up?
Right.
You know what I mean? And sometimes we make long-term investments, right? And you don't see the return.
Yeah. I get it.
So when we're talking about human investments with their time, that is the most valuable thing in the fucking world, because I can be doing anything else in the world but giving you my attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With that is where I'm starting to really value it. And I used to not really value my time as much.
Yeah.
But I also didn't come out the house and give anybody any energy.
That's right.
And I still really don't. I'm very selective on who I give any energy to.
And I think with you having said that, my final thought is
Yeah, we got to wrap it up.
you really have to learn to like and love yourself.
You do.
Before you can be,
Yep.
find that great person that you want to date and give your love to.
Yep.
That love has to be found inside of you.
You got to love
first.
yourself and know your worth, right? And you've seen me posting some things to me that wasn't whining, by the way. Like I posted some shit the other day about like, it's not my job to fucking make you value me. It's not my job to make you understand. Like, I'm tired of explaining shit. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people that especially in the business world, I think a lot of times we're trying to convince people that don't make a difference. You know what I mean? And why am I asking somebody for advice that don't have the experience?
Well, you
even
don't,
on love and relationships.
that's true.
How are you going to go ask a person that's never been married for advice on marriage?
Right.
Or someone that's been divorced 5 times.
Once you learn that you don't owe anybody an explanation,
you don't owe anybody anything.
Things will become a lot.
I'm not saying like
you.
I'm not condoning ghosting and all that shit. I feel like you should give people the decency to be like, you know what, I don't really, this ain't working out.
This doesn't feel good. I don't want to go out again, or whatever. But
I think, but at the same time, silence and no response is the fucking response.
Yeah, that's a pretty immature response.
It is.
And we're living in a society today where
people think
everybody
it's okay.
seems to be anxiety ridden.
Yeah, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
And so,
but it goes back
that's
to
a problem.
It is, but it goes back to what you just said a while ago of matching the energy.
Yeah.
Reading the room, matching the energy, right?
Yeah.
And I'm getting better at it, and I used to not be. I would walk in a room and be like, stir the fucking pot.
Yeah.
And I'm getting better at walking in the room and like, especially like we get so excited about our creative shit. And I've learned to go, you know what, this person ain't even fucking listening. Why am I still talking? As soon as I see their attention drift off, I'm like, well, damn, the weather's nice today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There is something to be said about being that energy that makes the shift in energy when you walk in the room. You know what I mean? There's something to be said about that.
There is. And it's being able to be aware of like, was this shift positive? Was this shift negative?
Yeah.
Did people go, ooh, Mark's finally here, yay? Or, oh shit, here comes that dude.
They're like, oh Lord, here
oh
comes
man,
Marcus.
What's he gonna be talking about today?
Right.
I got someone like that
Who
in there.
is he gonna piss off today?
Right. Yeah, right. I've got someone in our little community. Every time I see them, they make just the silliest comments. What are you working on these days?
Yeah.
AKA, like, what's your 50th project for the month?
Well, people like that sometimes don't understand that to build wealth, it takes multiple streams of income.
It does. And a lot of times you got to throw shit at the wall and see what works.
That's right. So, I admire people who have that entrepreneurial spirit.
I do too.
And I think that it's deep inside of you, and
it is, and it's so crazy.
You got to appreciate the hustle.
It is. And for me, like tying it back into the dating, I say it all the time. I posted the other day, and I seen everybody comment. Remember the post I made the other day where I was like, I was like, debate of the day. What's everybody think about? This quote where it was like, I want someone as my business partner, my lover, like the whole thing. I want it to be just raveled all together. It doesn't mean we got to spend every hour of every day together. Doesn't mean that you can't be like, hey, I'm going to the wine book club today. I'm not going to that shit. Go. Get out of my face.
But that can also, you have to be careful with that because that can pigeonhole the way you're thinking, and then you may not be open to similar possibilities.
True. So I guess.
You have to be really open-minded and not pigeonhole yourself.
You're right.
Say, this is what I want. And then maybe people who hear you say that are like, oh, I'm none of these things.
None of those.
But I could be like this.
Well, it goes back to I'm always like, I feel like there's 3-4 different types of women. Like, I don't feel like the corporate girl is also the housewife. Corporate girl's not the housewife.
Maybe not.
Probably
Maybe
not. But the corporate
not.
girl makes enough to have somebody come clean the house. So does it matter? Does it matter? The house got cleaned.
I mean, yeah, if you want to look at it like that.
Yeah. But anyway, we could go all day. I love sitting around BSing with you. I normally end with advice, but we've already gave so much advice out in the last 20 minutes with all these different things.
I
But
know.
I think the main nugget that I'll reinforce on the way out of this episode is being open to things that you think you wouldn't be.
Yes.
All around. You know what I mean? It's like sexual, relationship, like everything.
Yeah.
You never know until you actually open your mind up a little bit and go, would I be into that? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to do something new. I would have never met my first husband had I not decided to have a one-night stand.
There you go. Right?
Yeah.
I love that.
Although, let's be honest here, I've now never had a one-night stand. Because my one-night stand
technically turned into a family, right? So technically, was it a one-night stand? Yeah, you went out with the intention of it. But yeah, be open. Right. All right, guys, on that note, be open to exploring different possibilities. Well, thanks, Ashley, for coming and talking to me.
Thanks for having me.
I loved hearing a different perspective versus, the single guests I've had that are always single. But yeah, so.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys, until next time, Dating Detours. That's another episode of Dating Detours. If you've got a story from the wild world of dating apps or real life heartbreaks, we want to hear it. Share your story or book your guest spot at datingdetours.com. And remember, love's confusing, but the stories are always worth it.